Good evening. Welcome to the Administrative Services Committee meeting for Monday, July 6th, 2020. Please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino.
Here.
Counselor McBurdy.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Counselor Plunkett.
Here.
Counselor Burridge.
Here. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the June 1st, 2020 committee meeting. Counselor Hill. Burridge.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes. At this time, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the June 15th, 2020 committee meeting. Counselor Burridge, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes. Is there any old business to attend to at this committee? Seeing none, moving along to item number 1 under communication. Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. seeks favorable consideration by the Common Council for the acquisition of excess land owned by the city of Oswego to Hawthorne Holdings LLC for the purpose of constructing a new animal hospital on the site. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. This item, really all the information is in your packet, but it's tax map parcel 128.34-04-01-02. Measures approximately 111 by 41. It's over by East Seneca Street by the Board of Elections. Really a small piece of land that the city owns and has no real use for. It's along the road and then landlocked around. So we were approached by this person who has a project in mind for an animal hospital. They're certainly a credible business owner and already have an established practice in Central Square. So we think this investment is a great investment for Oswego, and we can help expedite and foster this growth and investment by simply allowing them to purchase the land. We put the purchase price on the land for $1 because it is such a small piece in an otherwise really unusable space. So it seems to make sense for the city to help move this investment in this project along by putting a very, very reasonable price. So we're happy to do so and look forward to working with this property owner to make this project come through and make it a reality.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any questions or comments from the council on this particular item? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Hill. Yes.
Counselor McBurdy.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
Mr. Mayor?
City Attorney's Office will handle that.
All right, thank you. Item number 2, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests the formal adoption of a permanent city property sale process. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. This really is consistent with what we did last time back in December, starting in October through November, December, and into the new year. We took possession of, I want to say roughly a dozen properties that were foreclosed on because of taxes. And as a council, we informally created this process because we wanted to do it as a test run, a pilot, and see if it actually worked. And I think we can all agree it turned out all right. I think we were able to sell 11 of the 12 properties that we took back in October, and we sold them to reputable property owners who are either investing in the piece of property or home to improve the parcel and the neighborhood. So we'd like to just stay with that same process and actually now make it the official property sale property sale process at Oswego and make it the official way that we do business with the properties we take back. So real quick, I'll just run down the 5 bullet points. The first is the Oswego takes legal possession of the property. And once we're notified of that, we will send the previous owner or occupant a letter from the city attorney's office, essentially giving them a last chance to come in within 30 days and pay the outstanding balance of all the monies owed on the property in full. And then we will tell them in that initial letter, if the payment is not made in full within 30 days, then we will begin to publicize the property and try selling the property. After the 30 days are up, assuming they don't come in and pay to keep the property in full, the common council will convene in an executive session as we did last fall during the Administrative Services Committee. And that will be the meeting that the council will assign the minimum bid that we'll even consider and any other bidding criteria that the council choose, and they'll publicize and use those that criteria as guidelines. So just as we did last time, we'll make it clear if we stick to the same mentality, we'll make it clear that we're not necessarily interested in the highest bidder, but more interested in the use of the property and what the final product will look like, and any other criteria that the council comes up with at that time. So we'll publicize all that and make sure it's fair, transparent, consistent. Then we'll publicize that. Step 3, for 45 days, we'll be accepting sealed bids only delivered to the city clerk's office. That way nobody can go in and run up bids or tell other people who's bidding or how much, and we'll avoid any conflicts there. So a 45-day closed bidding process. Following the 45-day listing period, step 4, the council will convene again during executive session. They'll unseal the bids, review them, and then they'll actually award the bids after some deliberation and select the bid that they want. And then the formal award process will happen during the common council meeting at the next common council meeting when the council actually votes to award the properties to the selected and successful bidder. We did put a step 6 in. And then step 6 is to identify the only reasons the city should deviate from this sale process. There's really only 2 reasons we can think of at this time. Number 1 is to engage in a mutually beneficial transaction with the Oswego County Land Bank. We all know what the land bank does, and what I think we'd all like to do is give the land bank first dibs really on the properties that they may want to consider. We did this last fall where the code enforcement director took the director of the land bank around to each property, whether it was a demo property or a rehab, and asked them what they were interested in. We're happy to work with the land bank, keep that relationship going. And even if it's not mutually beneficial, I think it's good that we even help the land bank along by giving them a good property and in exchange asking for the demolition of a property. So happy to help and aid the land bank in that respect. And then the only other reason would be to do what we just did on this last item, and that's if we have the desire to sell only a vacant parcel of land that's necessary for immediate clear development that'll be beneficial to the city. So other than that, I don't see really any reason to break the policy and deviate away from the 5 bullet points I just outlined. I think, again, that we did this last fall as a pilot, and we were pleased with the outcome. You can actually drive around and see some of those properties we sold that last round, and a lot of them are being improved and under construction or completed already right before our eyes. So I think it works. It's very fair, more transparent than ever. And I'm happy to take any questions, comments that the council has.
No, I don't see any.
Rob, I would just like to weigh in on, I think we were all pleased with how well that tentative process worked over the fall and this spring. And as the mayor said, with the results. So, thank you.
All right, anybody else have a question or comment? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor McBrearty, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Cordino,
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy,
Yes.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
and we need a resolution.
City Attorney's Office will handle that one as well.
All right, very good. Item number 3, the city clerk's office has received a request from Alton Enterprises Waste Management for a 2020 solid waste license. It should be an easy one, Mayor.
Yeah, just standard, they came in, paid the fee and can be issued the license, so pretty standard.
Any comments or concerns from anybody? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Hill, Counselor McBrearty.
Counselor Cordino,
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy,
Yes.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Item number 4, City Engineering Office requests approval of change order number 2 for Patricia Electric Incorporated for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant electrical and SCADA upgrades in the amount of $1,040.63 for increased conduit sizing. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. Again, a rather small change order for a project of this size. This was work requested by both National Grid and the city to make sure we don't have any problems with the poles and the transformers and the electrical services down the road. So our wastewater staff and our engineers here and the consultants feel that this is an appropriate and necessary change. So we moved it forward for approval.
All right, very good. Any questions or comments on this one? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Cordino,
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy,
Yes.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Item number 5, the City Assessor's Office requests confirmation of the 2020 assessment roll for the city of Oswego. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. The total after the 2020 assessments, which will run from July 1st to 2020 to June 30th, 2021, the total taxable assessed value in the city of Oswego is $814,824,437. So that was completed back on June 30th. As it has to be submitted to New York State by June 30th. So we're asking for council approval. And just in case folks are really interested in this, the assessment roll is published already on the city website. So when the website's back up and running, hopefully tomorrow, you can get on and look at the assessments and the roll in its entirety on the website.
All right, very good. Any questions for the mayor on this particular item? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor.
Chairman?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Counselor.
Sorry, city attorney.
City Attorney.
Maybe I was on the other page of your.
Yeah, I didn't see your little picture on my screen here, so I'm
That's all
sorry I
right.
missed it.
No, I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to put just a finer point on this. You should also know that through the efforts of the city assessor, that the city of Oswego's equalization rate, which kind of equalizes all of the assessments throughout the city of Oswego and frankly the surrounding area. Once again, the equalization rate for taxpayers in the city is at 100%. which is exactly where we want to be. So that's just, again, further testament that, departments are doing their work, and we have equalized assessments throughout the city of Oswego.
All right.
Tell you, not every municipality in this county is as fortunate as we are. There are some that have as low as 80 and in the 90s, but we are at 100%. So that's a good thing.
Yes, very good. Any other comments on this particular item? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor McBurney, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino,
Yes.
Counselor McBurney,
Yes.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
All right. Item 6 has been pulled and will be discussed at a later date. Other than that, is there any other issues that for this committee that anybody else wants to bring up? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Cordino, Counselor Cordino,
Yes.
Counselor McBurney,
Yes.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee meeting for July 6th, 2020 to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Hill, Counselor Hill,
Here.
Counselor Burridge, Counselor Burridge,
Here.
Counselor Walker,
Here.
Counselor Gozek.
Here.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of our June 15th, 2020 meeting? Counselor Walker, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozek.
Yes.
Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business under communication. Item number 1. The Oswego Renaissance Association requests use of public space to place their annual Block Challenge and Pride Project signage. My understanding is there are 15 of the Block Challenge signs, and it looks like 4 of the neighborhood Pride signs. Did anyone want to speak to this event or to this item? Okay. Any questions on this? Okay. Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Go.
Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozek.
Yes.
Item number 2, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests a supporting resolution for the city of Oswego to allow for Walter Bozick using Bartlett Tree Service to develop, implement, and regularly treat identified ash trees in the city of Oswego. Mayor?
Thank you. Mr. Bozick reached out to me in an email, and I attached, I believe, that email and the graph into the packet, into your packet. Yes. The graph is. So if you remember back, I want to say early 2019, there were a couple ash trees that were taken down near Montcalm Park, and as a result, the surrounding neighborhood, came forward with some concern. The reason why the trees were removed was because of a seminar our tree person at DPW attended that warned municipalities in the area to begin removing these trees because they were becoming subject to a pest that would get in these trees and then move to other trees and destroy the trees. It could become really an issue for all trees in our neighborhood. So once we heard the concern from the neighbors, we slowed down the removal process, and a few weeks ago, Walter reached out and said that he had some interest from the neighborhood in this area in the graph. They identified approximately 13 trees, I think, that they think they can pool some money together and begin to hire Bartlett to treat these trees regularly to prevent the pests from destroying the trees and moving into other areas. So they presented the plan. I think the plan is a good plan and will help preserve these trees. So if the neighborhood's willing to consolidate resources and do this, then I think we should let them do it. Happy to take any questions.
I would like to weigh in. I fielded a few of those calls when the initial trees came down, and I am very gratified that the city has decided to work with this person. He's reputable, and I think the neighbors definitely indicated a desire to work with the city in preserving as much as we can of the ash tree canopy, which is pretty significant in the city of Oswego. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Item number 3, Kevin Caracoli, City Attorney, seeks favorable consideration of a request to extinguish a paper street known as Rhodes Street, located between Ohio Street and Murray Street.
This is a little history lesson. There are many different streets that were laid out back in the day. This one, way back in the day, in the 1840s, I believe, called Rhodes Street, Rhodes. I can only imagine that it was reference to the Greek times, the Colossus of Rhodes, and so in any event, this shows up on no official map of the city, but different maps that were laid that showed the layout of streets. It was never adopted as an official street of the city of Oswego. And it only has now come up. I've never heard of it. Don't know if anybody else on the council has, but it only came up as a result of 2 other attorneys that are involved in a real property transfer that identified it in an abstractive title. Now, Rhodes Street, again, not a street that is laid out. It's what we call a paper street. It's only on paper. It's essentially between Murray Street and Ohio Street. And if you're familiar with the Shapiro's dealership, auto dealership over on Ohio Street, it's actually across the street from the main dealership buildings in that smaller steel framed building that they have over there. A portion of that building is in what is identified on at least one map from the 1880s as Rhodes Street. The best thing to do here, we don't have to abandon the road because it's not an established road on the city maps. I did check with Mr. Hinderleiter, city engineer, and he's confirmed that it is not an official street of the city of Oswego. It's only a paper street. So instead of abandoning it, some of you have been on the council long enough to know that you have to do that over the course of 2 successive common council years. We don't have to do that here. I've reviewed that with the city clerk, and the clerk's office concurs. All we have to do is adopt a resolution that extinguishes the paper street. So what does that mean? Essentially, that paper street is an easement that's reserved to the city of Oswego. We could, if we were so inclined, to create that as a real street. There would be no reason to do that. So it's essentially an easement or a right of way that's reserved to the city of Oswego. And essentially this resolution would just be saying, we give up any right or title or claim to that easement and right of way, and we'll just allow it to go with the owner of the property. It isn't owned by the city of Oswego even. It's actually owned by the Shapiro family and the business there, but it shows up in their chain of title as a paper street reserved to the city of Oswego. So my recommendation is that we simply adopt this resolution extinguishing the paper street and allowing and giving up any right that we might have to the use of that paper street in the future. That will allow the real property transaction to go forward with clear title. And that's really the ultimate bottom line here, is that the buyer and the seller are looking to transfer this property and convey clear title. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Counselor Walker.
Just a quick question for the attorney. Is there any utilities going through there that the city has, sewer, water, anything going through there? That's my only concern.
That's a great question. The answer is no, there is none. We did check that and checked that with the city engineer who maintains all of the official utility records, and we did a check. There is no utilities. This is, as I said, a portion of the Shapiro building. I'm not sure what they used it for. Maybe either as a extra storage area, but a portion of that building is actually in this paper street. But there are no utilities underground, overhead, or otherwise.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Counselor Gozick.
Yeah, I support this resolution, but I had to bring up one little fact. Kevin had mentioned, and before we lay Rhodes Street to rest, I had an alternative version of where the name Rhodes came from. As a matter of fact, Charles Rhodes was a very prominent Oswego lawyer in the 1850s. He was a law partner of William Duer, Congressman, United States Congressman from Oswego. And his other partner was Leander Babcock, who was an early mayor of Oswego. And we know there's Duer Street, Babcock Street, and Rhodes Street. I found out he was also one of the second generation of library trustees for the Garrett Smith Library. So just wanted to throw out an alternative Colossus of Rhodes, or Charles Rhodes, the Oswego lawyer. But I thought I'd throw that out there, and I do support this.
My money's on Counselor Gozick's version.
Perfect. All right, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
Item number 4, Thomas Kells, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, has received a request from Kathy Cruz and Daniel Lupa as representatives of the ORA to donate 2 park benches to be placed at Kingsford Park School as part of a neighborhood initiative to improve the park. And this request also includes a request to put up a decorative wrought iron rail with a historical plaque at the park. Are there any questions on this request? Counselor Gozick.
No, just a comment. I've been in touch with Mr. Lupa and Mrs. Cruz, and I support this 100%. They've been doing the Renaissance Neighborhood Pride Grant, and they've done a great job down there planting new trees. We had the city take down one blighted tree, and recently the mayor has helped us by putting a couple picnic tables over there and a garbage can at their request. So I support this 100%. I think it looks really nice. I've seen the plan, and they're going to lay the benches in the, let me get this right here, in the southwest corner of the park. So you can look out across the park. So I think it's going to look really nice. So I just wanted to say I approve it, and I thank the people that have worked on this for making this happen, all the neighborhood residents that have been a part of it.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick and Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
Item number 5, Thomas Kells, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, has received a request from Dave White to donate a memorial bench in memory of Don and Nancy Sweeney to be placed in West Linear Park. Any questions on this request? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
Item number 6, Thomas Kells, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, has received a request from Tiffany Clunan to donate a memorial bench to be placed in West Linear Park to honor her parents, Joanne and Hugh Clunan. Any other questions or concerns with this request? Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Walker. Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
Item number 7 has been pulled. So we'll be moving on to item number 8. The following 6 items are all through the zoning and planning office. I did have a chance to speak with the office today, and they expressed no concerns with these items. But as we go through each one, I'll provide the relevant counselor the opportunity to speak on them. So item number 8, the zoning and planning office has received a request to use public space submitted by Pamela Caracoli, owner of a single-family dwelling located at 76 West Seneca Street, to install an 11-foot by 9-foot landscape flower bed on the southwest corner of the intersection at West 6th and Seneca Streets. Councilor McBurney?
Thank you, Councillor Hill. I had a chance to talk with the neighbors earlier, and as you all may know or may not be aware, when we did the bikeway, we had to skip over 6th Street and Seneca due to some infrastructure issues. So neighbors got together and thought that they could take care of the two corners of the public easement between the sidewalks at that intersection to dress it up and help it look more like part of the overall project. I think they'll do a great job. The next item is the Murrays on the opposite side of the intersection. So I will use this as my overall statement of support of these two proposals.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
Item number 9, the zoning and planning office has received a request for use of public space submitted by Paul Murray, owner of a single-family dwelling located at 60 West 6th Street, to install a 12-foot by 9-foot landscape flower bed on the northwest corner of the intersection at West 6th and Seneca Streets. Councilor McBurney already spoke to this. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
Item number 10, the zoning and planning office has received a request for use of public space submitted by Konrad Dole, owner of a single-family dwelling located at 182 East Seneca Street, to install a fence between the curb and property line fronting East Seneca Street. Counselor Burridge?
Thank you, Counselor Hill. Yeah, I spoke to the residents of that location. I think if you guys all took a drive by there, you see there's quite a large hill. They've got 2 small children, dog, and it's pretty dangerous. People heading out there going to the dump, and on regular dump days, it's almost a speed zone out there. But I took a walk through the property. She explained what she's doing. She's working with Jeff McGann. I think she got a great plan. I think it's going to look really nice there, and I highly recommend this for the area.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge and Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
All right, item number 11, the zoning and planning office has received a request for use of public space submitted by Avery and Mitchell, owner tenant of a mixed-use building located at 189 West First Street, to install a 5-foot 6-inch by 35-foot. It's a seating area for cafe seating fronting West First Street. This is my ward. This is part of the Latatro project. The first floor restaurant, the Southern Fair restaurant, will have an outdoor seating area. If you looked in your packet, you saw there is a diagram of that seating area. I think it'll be great for downtown and really dress up that corner and really give downtown a nice look. I fully support this and would recommend my fellow councilors do the same. Any questions on this request or concerns? Councilor Gozick?
Oh, no, I just wanted to mention, Mr. Mitchell, lives in my ward, and, he had contacted me, and I went down today and did a little tour. And I agree with you. I think it's gonna be a boon to downtown, and, I look forward to, restaurant opening and hopefully things getting back to normal. I think it's gonna complement, the opening of the Children's Museum across the street and everything that's going on down there. So, highly supportive of it, and I was very appreciative to get an opportunity to see, the work in progress today. So just wanted to mention that. Support
All right.
100%.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other comments? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak,
Yes.
Item number 12, the Zoning and Planning Office has received a request for use of public space submitted by MB Oswego Properties LLC, owner of a commercial property located at 248 West Second Street, to install front stairs into public space between the sidewalk and property line fronting West Second Street. Counselor Gozick?
Yeah. This has been a real eyesore, rundown old apartment. I went by and looked at it today, and it's definitely going to be a nice improvement. They're restoring a little bit of the green space, and the old porch was shot. So I support it 100%. It's definitely going to be a benefit to neighbors and anybody passing by on the street.
Great. Any questions or comments on this request? Okay, seeing none, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick and Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak,
Yes.
Item number 13, the Zoning and Planning Office has received a request for use of public space submitted by Amy Lear, owner of a commercial property located at 192 to 194 West First Street, to place tables and chairs between the curb and property lines fronting West First Street. This is to support her new ice cream venture. If you've had the chance to get down there, they're doing a great job with that. They've extended their hours. They're really stepping it up for that part of the business. Are there any questions on this request? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a motion. Counselor Burridge and Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak,
Yes.
And last item, item number 14, the Community Development Office has received a request from Mercedes Neese, Executive Director of the H. Lee White Maritime Museum, regarding the H. Lee White Museum's Paddle Fest to be held on Saturday, August 22nd, 2020. This is simply a date change. We previously passed a resolution for the date to occur on 7/18. Now that's just moving to August 22nd. Any questions on this? I know that the event organizer is going to be in close contact with local, state, and federal authorities just to ensure they're doing everything in compliance with any regulations required for COVID. Okay. All right, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker and Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak,
Yes.
Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Counselor Burridge and Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill,
Yes.
Counselor Burridge,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Gozak.
Yes.
All right, meeting is adjourned.